Hello everybody, how's it going? It's me, Krendor, and welcome back to Krendor Talks in front of a shitty green screen, and we've got some big reveals to talk about today. So last night at Adepticon, they announced a whole bunch of stuff, and we're going to talk about the things that I mainly cared about, which are Seraphon, the new Death Tomes, 40k 10th edition, and Imperial Beastmen. Everything else, I was like, it's alright. So let's begin. First things first, as we cruise down here, I'm gonna save Warhammer 40k 10th edition for last because it's a honker. We're gonna start with good old Seraphon. So here we go. We had a bunch of new Seraphon. Here we are. So after a slow trickle of Saurian standard scorching artillery and skink seers emerging from the spawning pools, the prehistoric patience of the Slan Masters has run out. Now it's time for scales and fangs and magics and cold blood. Here we are. And we get new reptilian warriors, and here are the new Agredon Lancers. So these are called Agredon Lancers. And honestly, I think these look great. At first, I was kind of like, they're just riding on raptors like the skinks. But then, like, comparing the two, I was like, hey, you know what? I actually think they are pretty cool. And they're a lot bigger than I was going to imagine. They essentially, when I was talking about it in my preview, I was like, oh, it'll be like two big what are they called? Fulmigators in Stormcast. It'll probably be like two big ones of those. And really, it's three big ones. So three big Saurus raptor cavalry. So this is more of like an elite cavalry, which I think is really cool. I think that's what the Saurus should be, right? They're obviously bigger, stronger, compared to the skinks. And it looks like the skink cavalry is more like the old Saurus knight cavalry. So I think that's going to be the replacement for that. And then this is kind of a new style of unit, which I think is really cool. So you can see here, we got this one, which I love this one, the raptor being like, brah, and then him being like, brah. And then this dude banging on the drum, you know? So that's pretty neat. Hopefully that's +1 to charge for the drummer. That'd be neat. So yeah, you know, 3 dudes, 1 banner, 1 spear, probably the leader, and then 1 drummer. So it looks good. The primal howl of Gur's rage has hatched ancient eggs, held long dormant in the sacred ziggurats of Itzel. I was like, it's. The powerful Agredons are vicious beasts that only the toughest Saurus can tame. So you can see here. I really like these shields, too. You see those shields? They almost look like a Saurus head. I think that's really cool. You're just like, ew. I don't know. I like that. These thundering shock cavalry can break through the sturdiest enemy lines, tearing into their terrified foes with foul-tempered, drooling bloodlust where other cavalry would get bogged down. I'm actually really interested to see the rules on that. Because obviously this is like elite cavalry, right? And so them saying they're not going to get bogged down in combat, they're going to give fear into their foes. So that makes me think, you know, maybe they have some sort of like ability to like retreat and charge. Maybe they have 3d6 charge. Maybe they have, you know, they can retreat and or they can like move in combat. Maybe they can like shuffle around. Maybe they do more damage to lower wound models. Maybe they get tankier against that. Like, who knows? There's so many ways they can go with it, but it's really cool to have an elite cavalry type of option with the Seraphon now. So that's really neat. And then we have the Saurus Scar Veteran on Agredon, and this dude looks awesome. He literally just looks like a more modernized version of the Monster Rider guy, right? Because there's Scar Veteran on Carnosaur, but this looks like a more modernized version of that. So, I mean, I actually think you could proxy him onto a Carnosaur. It probably depends on the size of the model and everything, but I mean, he's in pretty much the similar position as the Carnosaur one, so I think maybe you'd be able to. It probably depends, but somebody will do it, right? Either way, he says these lances of lizards are led by prodigiously skilled Scar Veterans mounted on Agredons. The most violent beast requires a truly formidable rider, and such warriors master their mounts with a single-minded dedication to the old ones. So, sounds good to me. It's another hero, but this one's going to be on a mount, so a mounted hero. And the old Scar Veteran on Cold Blood was absolutely terrible. It was like a plastic mixed with resin model where you had to glue the I literally have it in the box. I don't know. Maybe I'll build it just for like nostalgic sake someday, but it's bad. This is amazing. So, you can see here, looks pretty neat. You can... Lacking truly vast experience, the ancient Old Blood Scar veterans are nevertheless ruthless commanders who understand how to harness the natural ferocity of Agradon and Saurus alike. So, this is kind of what I was talking about. I was like, I think they might take the Skink Starseer's 3d6 charge and give it to someone like him, right? Like, this would make a lot of sense. If you're going into combat, right? And you're like, oh, 3d6 charge, right? You're riled up, you're ready, you're like, rah! I feel like that's more likely to come from this guy than it is a little skink on a throne being like, eh. Right? I don't know. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think it would be more thematic. Because I would like them to keep the 3d6 charge. It would make sense for him to be doing that, as well as maybe like buffing their attacks or something, or maybe you buff the attacks on the charge. Who knows? Either way, it's a new model and looks great. Then... folks, we've arrived. New Kroak. Here they are. There's two options. Well, I think there's two different styles. So these are the new Kroak for number 1. I'm just happy they don't look like the way they used to, which was fine cast, old, and ugly. And hopefully they're good, because the old ones were like, okay, they weren't very good. In fact, they were probably below average, if anything, but... take a look at these. Saurus warriors might have been working out, but the new Kroak are absolutely yoked. Their hulking forms tower above the skinks who often accompany them into combat, where they pulverize foes with Drake, Bite, Mauls, and colossal moonstone hammers. Then we have the Kroak War Spawn. So this is an interesting one, right? The War Spawn. These look more like actual crocodiles. They got the like crocodile heads. They got the big tooth mallets, which I think are really cool, or like the bone teeth mallet. I like that a lot. This is probably my favorite looking Kroak. And then that one's pretty neat. But yeah, I really like this one. But Kroak War Spawn are a spawn breed marked by the wrathful god of Sotek, or god Sotek. Once a rare sight, the era of beast has seen the arrival of more and more war spawn, battle-bred brutes who are barely functional outside of combat, requiring skink attendants to clean and feed them. Should anyone lay a finger on their devoted assistants, these crocodilian killers fly into an apologetic rage. So, I'm going to be interested to see how these differ from these ones. These are probably your more standard Kroak, and then these might have, like, you know, probably more of an elite Kroak, I would guess, but that's going to be interesting. I'm just happy we got Kroak. I'm just happy we got all this stuff, right? I only thought they were getting like 3 units. They ended up getting like 9. So then we have the Seraphon army set, which, again, fantastic. Same as like Slaves to Darkness. I imagine this is pretty much the same as Slaves to Darkness, right? It's a 1 army box set. You'll be able to get your first taste of new Seraphon with an army set, which contains a Slan, 10 Saurus warriors, 5 Raptidon chargers, 5 Raptidon hunters, so you can build 2 units of variety. So you get 10 Raptidon things. Honestly, I wish they would have done, like, I don't know, Kroak in here instead of 5 more of these. Like, it should have been Slan, 10 warrior, 5 Raptidon, whatever you want, and then, like, you know, 3 Kroak. Or maybe even the new Saurus cavalry, right? Like 3 of the new Saurus cavalry. I don't know. But, you know, I'm not going to nitpick about it because it's fantastic. Like, I'm like, cool, I'll gladly take this box, right? Either way, it's fantastic. And then, this actually makes me really excited because you'll also get Special Edition Battletome. So, you get your own cover art, pack of War Scroll cards, the new Battletome, set of 52 enhancement cards, and the Treasure Trove of Tooth and Claw will be coalescing before the rest of the range, giving your first taste of Seraphon Supremacy. So this is big because this means that this box is coming out before the Battletome. So the Battletome is supposed to come out in summer. So that would mean I think this box probably comes out in early May. I would say early to mid-May because then I think the Battletome probably comes out in like June. But that's actually really big because... And then I think the rest of the range probably comes out in like June or something. But that means this box is going to probably be a pre-order in like April, if I had to guess. Maybe like, I would say probably late April. That's just, late April, early May, if I had to, really guess it. But we'll see. I'm pretty excited. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to build this entire box. I'm going to know this entire Battletome. This is what I've been waiting for, man. This is what I've been waiting for. And then there's new Battletome. I think it looks pretty sick. Got the new Saurus cavalry on it. They say it's not too long to wait before the spawning pools are at max capacity and cosmic reinforcements arrive. They'll be along in the summer after 2 new Battletomes for Grand Alliance death. We may even hear a whisper of these upon the Shyish wind soon. And then there they all are, having a great time. So, just phenomenal, man. Like, what do we got? New Skink Starseer, a new Slan, a new Astrolith Bear, new Saurus Cavalry, new Skink Cavalry, new Kroak Sigors, a new Salamander type unit. Although, rest in peace, Razordons, I guess. I think Salamanders and Razordons are just gone. It's just, this is the Salamander-esque thing now, right? And then, new Saurus Warriors. Derp. I was like, what's the other thing? Yeah, and then new Saurus Warriors. So, like, oh my god, we got so much new stuff. It's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And then the new Saurus on Scar Veteran. I kind of included him with the cavalry, but he is really his own thing, right? He's literally like the Lord, the Crackajack or whatever it is, right, from Slaves to Dark. Like, he's literally that big of a model that's riding around. So that's really sick too. I love it, man. It's great. The one thing that did concern me is over on the old Games Workshop website. If you go there, right? Let me hold on. I could show this on the screen. I don't know why I'm not. Listen. So if you go to the Seraphon page, they have removed quite a bit of stuff. There's still some stuff that's like sold out, which is still there, but the Skink Priest is gone. The Chameleon Skinks are gone. The Saurus Sunblood is gone. And I think there might be some, and then the Razordon and Salamander are gone. And then maybe something else, but I don't think there's anything else. So what that likely means is those are just not in the new book, is what I'm thinking. I think I wish the Sunblood got another new model, but or the Old Blood, because the current Old Blood is old, so I guess fitting. But and I guess he's plastic, so it's not too bad, but still. I think they bring back the Sunblood down the line. I think they'll probably redo him. At some point they'll be like, hey, here's a new foot hero, right? They love giving out foot heroes. So foot heroes disappearing doesn't really bother me that much. The crazy part is now the only fine cast model is the Eternity Warden. So Eternity Warden and Saurus Guard are staying. You could probably proxy new Saurus Warriors in the Saurus Guard if you really want. That's probably what'll happen. And then Eternity Warden's like the only one. So that's actually insane. He's the only one left. Thank God. And then the Skink Priest disappearing is a little weird. So maybe the Star Priest is becoming the Skink Priest in a way. I guess they also have the Starblood Seekers, which has a Skink Priest in it. So maybe that's the thing. Or I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be interesting with the book and all that. Maybe they repackage the Starblood Seeker, or maybe they make a new priest. I don't know. But either way, Engine of the Gods is probably still a priest, and then you have the new sword, or you have the Skink Oracle and the Skink guy on the throne, which are Skink Wizards, and then I imagine the Skink Star Priest is going to be your priest. So we will see. It does kind of, having a priest and a Star Priest is a little, it's kill 2 birds with 1 stone, I guess, and you just break it into 1 war scroll. Although then you get rid of the priest, but whatever. It's I don't know. It's fine. Moving on. We have the new Ossiarch, Bone Reapers, and Soulblight Grave Lords. So there's the new Bone Reaper hero. He's all right. I was really hoping the Bone Reapers would get like a non-wizard guy as a foot hero, because all their like commanders are on horses, or they're like Catacross, or they're wizards, bone wizards. That's pretty much it. So I was really hoping they'd get like a legionnaire, like foot hero, like rah, that like helps in like combat and stuff. But whatever. I was mainly hoping we'd get new units. I wanted like a chariot and archers. That's really what I want for the Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Chariot, archer. Just make them straight up like the Roman bone men. That's really what I want. But that hasn't happened yet. So here we are. I'm excited for the new book because currently you can't even play them. Like they're just, it's a disaster to even try to play that book. So I'm just excited that it's going to be much more playable and simplified. So here's hoping to a good Battletome. I mean, it doesn't look bad. He looks cool. And then the new Battletome probably coming pretty soon. And then we got the Soul Blight. You got Evia Volga. And she looks pretty sick. I saw a lot of people saying they don't like the bats, but I actually like the bats. I don't know. I think the bats are cool. Maybe they get annoying to build and stuff, but I don't know. I think they're pretty neat. And then her axe is cool. I don't know. She's pretty neat. I like that. And then Soul Blight gets a new book, which Soul Blight was the 2.5 into 3.0 book. This was the last book of 2.0, so still had a little bit 2.0 in it. So I think these are 3 books that really needed that. Soul Blight didn't really need the upgrade, but it definitely could use it, right? There's still a lot of 2.0 stuff in there. So just Seraphon, OBR, Soul Blight, all getting updates to 3.0. Fantastic. And then that just leaves Cities of Sigmar and Flesh Eater Courts. Woo! And I would say Flesh Eater Courts probably gets their book and probably a big, model revamp. I would say sometime in the fall, if I had to make an estimated guess. And then Cities of Sigmar also happening in the fall. So there you go. I don't really care about either of those armies. Well, I like Flesh Eater Courts because they have zombie dragons, but I guess technically Soul Blight also has zombie dragons, so yeah. But yeah, they look pretty cool. So that was your standard. Here's a book and a model. I mainly just care about the book, to be honest, because I really do like Ossiarch Bone Reapers, but their book is old, and it doesn't even function with the current thing. So then we had Kill Team, which normally I'm like, Kill Team, whatever. But we got Beastmen, dude. Beastmen. Of course, they don't put the Beastmen on the front of the box. They put them on the side. I swear to God, people just... I don't know what it is. Why do I love these, like, dumb fantasy races over, like, all the other stuff? I feel like I'm the outlier. You know what I mean? Because everyone's like, Space Marines, dwarves, yeah. And I'm just like, I don't care. And then they're like, here's goats. And I'm like, yeah. Goats, lizards, rats. Let's go. I don't know. I never enjoyed playing the like good guy factions. You know what I mean? And this is like dating back to forever. Like in Star Wars, I was always like, yo, Darth Vader, Darth Maul, they look sick, right? I was never like, oh boy, the good guys. Maybe that says something about me. I don't know. But I always loved the wacky, dumb, like, goatmen, Skaven, lizardmen, right? Like, to me, like, humans, dwarves, whatever. I get why people like them, but they're not for me. Also, this guy looks like Baymax. This guy legit just reminds me of like Baymax in a dwarf suit. I do like this dude just like ready to fight with his brass knuckles. They got some cool guns. They got Mustache Man. It's neat. But here we are. Oh yeah, dude, give me a full 40k army of Space Goatmen, please. This would be fantastic. Also, these are 100% getting proxied for my Beasts of Chaos army, like 100%. Like the fact that they have done new Beast of Chaos sculpts and yet not given Beast of Chaos a model refresh is like, come on. It just makes me think that I think Beast of Chaos and Skaven will get their model refresh eventually. Like it's bound to happen, but it's funny that 40k is getting new Beast of Chaos before Age of Sigmar's actual Beast of Chaos. But we get chainsaw goats with guns. We get goats swinging axes. We get goats swinging mallets. We get a really cool shaman guy. Like this shaman, I'll probably just run this shaman in Age of Sigmar as well. It looks fantastic. Goat with mallet. And then we have this goat with an iron fist. And then this goat who's just like blindfolded and just swinging his crazy mutated arms. I love it. And then you got this goat who's got a like gas canister thing, which is pretty sick. And then you've got the dual blade goat. Oh wait, he's got 3 arms. I didn't even realize he's mutated, so he's got 3 arms. That's pretty sick too. I love this. This is fantastic. I can't wait to get these guys, because I love Beasts of Chaos, and so hopefully we get a full 40k Goatman army. That's my dream. So taking a look at all this, you get some terrain, you get some stuff, you know, your classic kill team thing, but main thing is the goats. So then we get to the grand finale here, folks. Warhammer 40k 10th edition. Here it is, the new edition. There's a lot of stuff here. You can read through this. You got the lore. You got the models. So we've got new, what are these? These are Terminators. Again, I'm not a Space Marine guy. If you like Space Marines, you'll probably like these. Cool. Although I thought it looks like they're playing the Chubby Bunny where you put all the marshmallows in your mouth. That's just what it reminds me of. So that's not, every time I see them, that's just what I think of. I'm like, dude, they got a bunch of marshmallows in their mouth. Now here's the real thing right here. We got our new Termagaints. Dude, this is like the first Tyranid model that's been upgraded in like 20 years. And they look fantastic. Like, I think they look really good. They look modernized, detailed. They look a little more realistic. But they still got that cartoony vibe, and that's really what I want. So I'm excited to see all the new Tyranids. I have a giant box of unbuilt Tyranid stuff I've been waiting to build for the new Warhammer edition, and now I can finally start building it. Except I probably won't build Termagaints if I have them in that box, which I think I do, because they're getting new base sizes too. So I'm like, why would I even build those? So the big things. So we got the game. This is still the rich, deep war game that you know and love. We've just doubled down on the best bits. So instead of a huge raft of faction stratagems, you'll have access to the handful of the best ones. There's also a few new universal stratagems, which anyone could use, which will allow you to reactivate in your opponent's turn. So, Age of Sigmar. There are improvements like this everywhere in turn structure, army selection, morale, terrain, missions, and the way in which characters interact with units, and more. List goes on. We'll explain more about each of these changes in the coming weeks. What does this mean for my army and my codex? Maybe the biggest change in the new edition is the data sheets. The way core information on data sheets is presented has changed, and with it, we took the opportunity to restat every unit in Warhammer 40,000, which is pretty insane, actually. Every unit has new and reevaluated rules, so every army will feel different from day one of the new edition, or feel new. The huge update has also given an opportunity to look again at lethality and durability across the entire game and rebalance it at a stroke, something we can never do outside of the launch of a new edition. This example will show you what we mean. So, first off, I love the fact that Age of Sigmar has influenced 40k, because I play a lot of Age of Sigmar, right? And I've also played 40k. And my biggest complaints of 40k were, 1, I didn't like building lists with detachments. Some people I've had be like, they're not that difficult to understand. Like, I literally just attack detachments like they were their child. And I'm like, I don't care. I just personally found them annoying when I'm like, I want to run my Stompa. And it's like, you need a separate detachment for the... And it's like, this, you can just make it easy. And so recently, apparently, they have made it easier. And it seems like that's the way they're going forward. That doesn't mean you're getting rid of the complexity of list building. You still have that. It's just make it easier. Like, it doesn't have to have so many steps to it, is what I think. And then the worst part is I would do that, and they're like, oh, your command points are wrong in the app anyway, which is probably more the app's fault, but still, it was dumb. So I didn't really like that part of list building in comparison to like Age of Sigmar, where I could just throw lists together. But like, you still have the complexity of list building, right? I'm happy about that. Number 2 is stratagems. I hated having like 60 stratagems, and I was like, wait, which ones are good? Which ones are bad? Some of these are terrible. Some of these are okay. They're very situational. Some of these are like, you want to use them all the time. And it's just like, bleh. And then you don't know any of your opponents. You're like, I'm going to do this thing. And then they're like, I have a stratagem to counter that. And it's like, well, I wouldn't know that unless I played against that army a bunch of times and knew all 60 of their stratagems. So it's very nice. I'm happy they're doing that with stratagems. And then the generalized commands. So one of them is literally redeploy. As you can see it on this this little card here, it literally is skulking whores. It's literally redeploy. So if you move within 9 inches of a unit, you can say I'm redeploying, you roll a dice, you move that much away from it. So it's not called redeploying this, but in Age of Sigmar, this is literally like word for word redeploy. So I would imagine they are doing the Sigmar style thing, which I think is great. It has encouraged a lot of like back and forth interactivity because you're like, oh, they're moving near me, I'm going to redeploy this unit, but you know, maybe you can only usually you only can redeploy one unit, and so you have to be very strategic and selective of what unit you want to redeploy because you might have 3 different things you're worried about, but you're like, you know what, this is the one I really need to redeploy, right? So it gives you a lot of options and choice, and you know, you don't just stand there in your opponent's turn being like, So I love that. One of my other big 40k issues was War Scrolls. Number one, War Scrolls were just they weren't like confusing. I wasn't like, what am I looking at? It was just kind of, they were just so discombobulated. Is that, I think that's a good word for it, because you would be like, oh, if you take a custom weapon that's not on their war scroll, you have to go into the back of your book and find that weapon, so you roll for that. Then you gotta go back to the other part of your book and find this thing, and it was like, for melee attacks specifically, it was so bad. I was like, okay, I think I do these melee attacks, and it's like, no, you can only do one of those melee attacks, and you have to like, you know, pick which like attack. This is like so much better. It's just, here's your melee weapons. You get 1 attack, 4 weapon skill, 3 strength, 0 AP, 1 day. It's literally like, it's the simplified Age of Sigmar style, and that is what I've wanted. Like, just, this is perfect. Tell me what I do, and then I'll do it. Right? We don't need 8 billion different, or like, you still have the, and some people might be like, where's the customization? You can still have all the customizations like on the card, right? You can just say like, you know, here's all the customizations, pick one of these to be your melee weapon. You're like, oh, I'll do this one as my melee weapon. And then you just read that one, and boom, right? It's all on the card. And then same with range weapons, right? There's all your range weapons. There's you know, you got your attack, how many attacks, you got your ballistic skill, you got your strength, AP, damage. That's it. And then you got movement, you got your toughness, you got your save, you got your wounds, you got your leadership, and you got your objective control, which is the new thing, which is pretty neat. So it's fantastic. I love these War Scroll cards. I think this is exactly what I wanted from 40k. And the fact that they pretty much did all the things I want them to do with 40k, I'm loving it. I'm ready to play some 40k, man. Let's go. Bust out my orcs, necrons, and my newly built Tyranids, ready to rock and roll. And I got, you know, Age of Sigmar demon armies. I got Nurgle. I can play some Nurgle in 40k too, or, you know, see how it goes. I have Tzeentch. So yeah, and then, you know, Combat Patrol. Combat Patrol is actually really cool. It's like you just buy a Combat Patrol and then you can play against someone else's Combat Patrol. It's essentially like, buy this and you're ready to play a game. So that's, I think, really neat. It's nice that they have those. And then, you know, there's like some Marks of Omen stuff, more stuff. I pretty much went over the main things. But that, you know, and we're going to learn more as the time goes on. So overall, after all these announcements, there's also some Horus Heresy, Warhammer Underworld stuff. You know, like I said, it's all right. But the Warhammer Underworld Tzeentch Warbane is actually pretty sick, not going to lie. And I don't really care about Horus Heresy, to be honest. But I love all these announcements. They're great. It's everything I wanted. Seraphon, 40k Beastmen, and fixing all the issues I had with 40k in 10th edition. So bring it on. I'm ready. Let's go. This is a great time to be a Warhammer player, honestly. And, you know, whether it's 40k or Sigmar, like, it's great. Or even just the side games. So let me know what you thought down in the comments section below. And like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. Okay? Okay. See ya.